I don't think the people see it just as a Negro entering a state university, because I don't think that's what disturbs the people, just this one Negro, because under our present system we can be selected. It's just that it's a beginning that would lead to integration in the public schools, which I think would be disastrous at this time here.
I think the whole thing's being carried to fanatical extremes. I just can't see the whole thing. It's inevitable. It's going to come.
USC integrates on September the 11th, 1963, several months after the desegregation of Clemson University. What occurs in Columbia and throughout South Carolina is a direct result of the legal efforts of the South Carolina NAACP and also a very strong student movement. So in the years before September 63, young men and women from some of the historically black colleges and universities were in sit-ins. They were protesting in downtown streets and theaters. And so they really set the pathway for the legal desegregation in higher education. It was significant in some ways because South Carolina's schools of higher ed were the last schools in the Deep South to desegregate.
You have urged other qualified Negro students to take advantage of this court's class action that pertains to the University of South Carolina. Do you know if any others plan to do this?
Well, I've heard quite a few say that they hope to apply to the university and they want to attend. So I'm sure that there will be some others who will enter.
And so we have made phenomenal advances socially, economically, and politically, and with regards to race in the last 50 years. Now, should anyone be satisfied where we are? No. But we should acknowledge there has been progress as a direct result of the struggles for civil rights and social justice advocated a generation ago.
So the university is really a good place to just understand other people's cultures and really see that you're not the only type of culture here. Basically, there are a mass load of people here, and they're all from different places. They're all from different backgrounds, and they're just like you, basically.
I think when you have a big school and you have different ethnic groups, different races, and then you have different organizations that cater to each group, you have unification in those groups, but not unification across the whole entire campus. So you have OMSA, and you have international student groups, and you have other groups where they meet together with their own people and their own cultures and their own relations kind of thing, but they don't meet with people outside of that. So across the board, USC is not unified, but inside of the different groups they are.
You're at a campus that's really known for being diverse and really known for bringing a lot of international students together or bringing people of diverse cultures together, but you still have those separational elements.
I think in some ways USC is unified, but I also think that there are some areas where USC is not racially unified. Just having, kind of cliquish, all the black people hang out here, all the white people hang out here, kind of mentality.
The rest of the school is also separated. You might have some of those who are integrated with each other, but that's usually through a common place or some organization that they might have come. But for the majority of people on this campus, most people go to the people that look like them, people who are their comfort zone.
USC is not unified wholly. There are moments where we are unified. When certain things happen, we have certain events, especially sporting events, we're unified. But on daily life, it is a separation.
Well, with it being the 50th year of desegregation, I feel like there's still a lot of improvements that we could make in the university and just with the unity with everyone all together. I still feel like it's very sectioned off and like in different groups. Like during lunch, there's a black section, and there aren't really white people around.
Like in the Russell House, there's You look around, there are different sections where, you know, different ethnicities sit. And also, you know, organizations. A lot of organizations, there's not a lot of unification in those. You just have some organizations, you have one set, you know, ethnicity, and boundaries are not really broken.
When it comes to Russell House, it's real easy. Black USC has like its own section right underneath the staircase. Anyone can see it. Versus you being white, black, Asian, purple, black, you know what I'm saying? Anybody can see that it's prevalent that Black USC is in a secluded area away from everyone else.
I mean, I noticed that, but I just see that as a group of friends, because even as unbalanced as it is, African-American black people tend to hang out with African-American black people. White people tend to hang out with white people, just because I don't know why that is, because I'm friends with one of my best friends is a short, sassy black girl that I love with all my heart. But it's just, people just tend to hang out with people that are more like them, I guess, because they share more common backstories. Like, I don't know why, but I guess people just tend to hang out with people that are more like them.
Going off of the whole Russell House thing, I think where that originated from is the fact that, like most athletes, especially like most of the football players, you know, they have early morning classes, then they go to lunch, and then they go to practice. So the only time that they really have to, I guess, sit in the Russell House and hang out would be between those hours. So of course, if you see like a Jadeveon Clowney or like a Marcus Lattimore sitting in there around that time, you're going to try to sit in that group because, you know, that's kind of the upper class and, you know what I'm saying, in social status. So I think that's why it happens. And I agree with Big O. Like, from the outside looking in, it looks really weird, like really odd that, you know, it's a lot of black people in here between this hour, and then after that, there's no black people pretty much in the Russell House.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting that there's always been this perception that all the black kids at the University of South Carolina are gathering together in some mysterious meeting at Russell House during certain hours of the day. Well, first of all, there is no way that that's all the black kids on campus. It's actually largely first and second year students when you look at it.
I remember my freshman year, like that's how it was. Like that's when all the football players would come in there. That's when all the Greeks would come in there. Like that's where they sat. Like I'll never forget, there were like 3 long tables, and that's where all the athletes, the Greeks, and just the people who are, you know, heavily known on campus. That's the time that they came in. So as a freshman, you're coming in like, well, shit, I gotta be in here, you know, during these hours so that I can be seen, so that I can be known. Like if somebody see me in there talking to Big O, like, from now on, they can be like, oh, yeah, you're Big O's friend. Like, you know, you're somebody now. So that's why I think it originated. But I really don't like it. You don't think so?
I'm not somebody. I just
what do you mean? You are somebody. You're Big O, bro. Everybody knows Big O.
Okay.
And then also what happens, frankly, is that somehow our eyes are fixed on those 2 or 3 tables in that cafeteria, and not on the other 40. And the other 40 are as homogeneous as the other 3. But somehow something's wrong with those 3 tables, or those 4 tables, and not the others. And that really begs some questioning, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's a central location on campus. It's in the center. People come throughout the Russell House literally every second.
Yeah, and it's like that can't miss spot. Like you have to pass by it. Like you can't avoid it. And it's just a lot of people in that small area. So it's just like something, not saying like if they weren't black, you wouldn't notice it. It's a lot of people that come in there at that one point in time, and you really can't bypass it. Like you're not going to walk through the Russell House and not glance in that area. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why it brings a lot of focus.
Or even like if you want to take it to Greek life, like there are the historically black Greek organizations, but then there's the historically white ones too that not many people are in either. And like all the Greek village organizations are all white, and then there's like no representation of like the black Greek organizations on campus at all, pretty much.
But like with like sororities and fraternities, like you were just saying, like there are black sororities and black fraternities and white sororities and black sorority. I don't know if that's like a purposeful thing actually, because I don't know anything about Greek life. I'm really not into that.
Yeah, I'm not really big on Greek life either, but there are still a number of different like topics and conversations that people have surrounding Greek life, and one of them I actually covered for a story. Well, no, one of my friends covered it in her story, and she was talking about basically how the Divine Nine, which is basically the classification for African American fraternities and sororities, they had their Greek week, and there was a lot of different tweets on Twitter about from white sororities or just white people in general just saying, oh, well, Russell House is too loud or this and that, just kind of like bashing.
Heard about that.
Yeah.
I helped,
and you know, that for me personally, that's something that I wouldn't expect here still at USC, but the fact that it happened, it was just like, well, maybe there's still some people that are still in that mindset or still in that mind frame where, like, you know, it's just like we can't come together, we can't coincide with each other, and I don't really understand that. And a lot of different people also talk about the fact that African American sororities and fraternities don't have Greek houses on campus.
My real concern about creating Greek suburbs at an urban campus is that it just geographically allows for segregation. It's concerning to me only because it does permit young men and young women to live in homogeneous communities. Now, of course, within those groups, you do have geographical diversity, you do have ethnic diversity, and you may even have socioeconomic diversity. But it does lack ethnic diversity and racial diversity. And I just think that is not a healthy learning experience.
You know, I don't see like the black frats and the white frats or the white sororities and the black sororities, you know, mingling between each other and doing events together, which I'm like, if you're a fraternity or sorority, you know, y'all should be doing projects together. Well, why is it separated? Because I see white sororities, you know, doing things with other white sororities, and I see black fraternities doing other things with black fraternities and stuff like that. But you know, you can't do it together. You know, that is kind of weird to me, and I think that should definitely change.
I think that as a school at USC in the South, an SEC school, it could be worse. And there's schools in our conference where it is worse, where you have University of Alabama where it's known that they don't want black people to be a part of white sororities. And they know that, and it's just like a known fact, and it's been talked about, it's been written about. And USC doesn't necessarily have that stigma on them. It may be bad sometimes, you know, you may have issues, but they're not that bad. So I think that it could be worse, and it's actually getting better.
They have been putting on a lot of activities and events going on in honor of the 50th year of desegregation, and I think that's fantastic. But the fact that the people are still alive to attest to what they went through should be an eye-opener for people that it wasn't that long ago.
My name is Harry Walker. I attended University of South Carolina from '68 until '72 for my undergraduate work, and I did my graduate work from '72 to '74. I had the privilege of being the first African American to be president of the student body. First of all, I think it's very important that we all continue to be reminded of what it took to get us to where we are. And that's not only young people, but it's old heads as well.
Like, I think that, you know, history is extremely important because you have to know where you come from. You have to know where you come from. But I think that you should let, like, the past should influence but not dictate your future. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always good to know your background, your history, but, you know, you can't live by the same laws, per se, that your grandparents did because it is a different time. This is a new time, but at the same time, you need to be aware of what has happened for you to get to this place.
Because if you don't know it, then you're just going to repeat it. Like, if we don't talk about the Holocaust, it's going to happen again. So, if we don't talk about... I mean, that's harsh, but, like, we talk about these things to make sure they don't happen anymore. That way we can say, like, if this guy's going to be another Hitler, we can't let that happen again. So if we don't talk about like racial diversity, it's just going to keep going on.
But I feel like some students here want to talk about certain things, but they can't because they never get that opportunity. And I believe like if we had an open discussion about, you know, race on campus, it can open up some eyes about what's really happening here at USC. Because even though it's 2014, stuff is still happening. And it's just not happening at USC. It's happening at campuses all across the United States of America. But, you know, you got to get to that point in which everybody feels comfortable to talk about it, because apparently everybody will get offended with what people say. So that's why you'll probably never see that happen on a college campus, because America's turned to one big soft sugar cookie. Yep, and it's sad.
So, you know, when it comes to cultural differences, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, it shouldn't matter, you know, who you are, where you come from. Like, when I walk around campus, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm Asian and I should be treated differently because I'm Asian. You know, now granted, I will make jokes of myself. I'll be like, hey, I'm good at math or whatnot, you know, and stuff like that. But like, I won't be like, you know, I'm Asian, so I should get this for it. I should treasure the student body because I'm Asian. You know, it doesn't matter. Anyone is qualified to be, you know, treasure the student body or whatnot. So, you know, there's one reason why there's a big deal is because people keep bringing it up.
I think it's really important to know where you come from. I don't think that it's something that should be hidden. It's history, you know, it's something that happened. You can't fool anyone by saying this didn't happen at all. You know, you're going to grow up and you're going to run into situations, and sometimes history comes up, sometimes history repeats itself. And, you know, as a generation that's growing older and we're declared as the future leaders, we need to know exactly what happened in the past so that we can educate ourselves, we can educate the people that's coming up under us, and we can actually do something about what's going on.
I would hate for after when the commemoration is over for us to just go back to saying, oh yeah, everything is fine. Because I think one thing, if it says how far we've come, it says how far we have to go before things are truly unified and together. Like Aaron said, urge yourself to talk to that one new person every day, or, you know, explore things that you haven't explored before. Coming to college is about expanding your horizons and all of that. And I think that if we do that on a cultural level, we can definitely see that change that we're looking for.
The spice in life comes in the differences, not in the mundane, not in doing the same things every day or knowing the same people, but in expanding the kind of experiences that you have. That's where the real spice in life and where the living comes in. And I want to see students of all races and of all cultures experience those things that can stretch them, that can expose them to things that they have not been exposed to. I think that we just drive ourselves to a much better society that way. And I can only challenge students and quite frankly adults and older people to go and step out of your comfort zone, to meet and deal with and see people that and experiences that you don't normally have. For the first time just a couple of weeks ago, I started taking yoga. I never thought I would do that, but I found that I enjoy that. It helps my back. It really does, and it's a different experience. So I try to challenge myself to do to do things that I have not done before, and I would encourage people to just make that a part of your life's ambition. To step outside of your comfort zone and experience things. You may find something that you really enjoy.
Oh, if you want like a different description.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't want to say, call you something that you're not.
I have the description for you. Awesome.